Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are doing a recap and review of Temptation Island Season 3 Episode 3 You Did Me Dirty recap. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, smash that like button, and also feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below, because I do like to engage with my viewers and subscribers. So without further ado, let's jump into this video. So, this week episode of Temptation Island brought us back to the conclusion of the first bonfire. And as we saw the ladies, it kind of ended on a very heartbreaking note when we have Erica admitted that she felt less than her boyfriend Kendall because he made her feel like she wasn't good enough. And we saw how Mark was kind of pushing her to come back to that place of self-love that she had felt earlier in the conversation. And, you know, it looks like, you know, her conversations with Mark sometimes seems like a therapy session to help build up her, you know, her self-esteem. And hopefully, you know, she'll get there eventually through this process. So now we see Kristen was up next, and she saw a clip of her boyfriend Julian getting a half lap dance from one of the singles. We also hear that, you know, of course, Kristen dropped that bomb that Julian did not only cheat on her once, but twice. And, you know, Mark definitely hit the nail on the head when he concluded that Kristen was a victim of comfort in her relationship. So, I mean, they're the couple that have been together for like 11 years. They've had some time under their belt, and definitely some history under their belt as well in regards to their relationship. So she got some things that she needs to consider if she want to move forward past this process. So then we have Erin, as she watched her boyfriend Corey sharing information about Erin that made him feel like he came second in their relationship. And this is where we see Erin is, you know, worrying that she might have realized too late that it's actually not bad that Corey is different from her. And, you know, that's the thing. It's one thing when you're in the situation, but it's interesting to hear what your significant other may say, you know, when you're not around. And this is the situation of what's going on with Erin. You know, it seems like, you know, she has definitely a different lifestyle. She's dated professional athletes. But, you know, when she got to hear what he was talking about, it kind of made her think a little bit. So now their bonfire is over. And again, we see Erin getting a little emotional about it. But now it's the guys' turn. And they were coming in really confident. You know, they weren't feeling worried at all. However, when these ladies start, you know, opening up and they get to see some things, they're definitely going to get a reality check. And, you know, the only other person that really is like Corey, because, you know, he has a definitely a different take on this whole experience. Okay, so the first one up is Mark showing Corey footage of Erin and this guy Griffin talking about their shared love of soccer and how hard it is to be an athlete. However, even though it's not that big of a deal of the conversation, this upset Corey because he has been made to feel like he can't live up to all of the professional athletes Erin has dated in the past. So then we got Julian. He sees a clip of Kristen opening up to Jesse about that. And, you know, Julian told Mark that, you know, it's been 5 years since he's cheated on Kristen, but he's trying to put in the work to make them whole and make everything right again between the two of them. Okay. So next up is Kendall, and he's just as confident as ever. And Kendall surprisingly showed interest in Erica's clip and watched as she confided in Lex. And, Kendall, he brushed it off and said Lex was just talking game. He's not really worried about it. Yeah, so it doesn't really seem that, he's that concerned about the interaction. He think he's got everything on lock when it comes to Erica. So his confidence with, where he stands in the relationship is right through the roof. So next we have Thomas, who's the last one. And he watched his girlfriend Chelsea get closer with that doctor named Blake as they chatted about their love of snowboarding. And of course, Thomas laughed it off, and he agreed with Kendall with the whole throwing lines thing. And he told Mark he wasn't worried about Chelsea making an emotional connection with Blake, since, that's something that they already share in their relationship. It's not a void that she's, trying to fill. However, Mark definitely put Thomas on notice real quick, and he snapped back and said that if they didn't have a void in their relationship, they wouldn't even be a part of this experience. They wouldn't even be here. And that, it makes total sense. So it switches us back to the girls' villa, and we see there's conversation with the four girls, and the biggest thing that comes out of this conversation is what's going on with Erica and her relationship and how she feels about it. And also what's going on with Chelsea as well, because they seem to be pretty similar in, their situations with both their guys, Kendall and with Thomas. And, that's definitely something that is a concern. I think that somebody even brought up the fact of whether Kendall is being manipulative in his actions. But, it's going to be an interesting ride to see with those two. And even who knows what happens with the ladies down the road. So we are now back at the villa with the guys. And the next morning, it brought up some switching, with regards to choices for second dates. And we see Thomas putting on his charm with Sophia. Sophia was definitely smiling from ear to ear when Thomas said that it's hard to be around her because she is his type. And obviously, you can bet that they're going to definitely show this clip to Chelsea at their next bonfire. And she is definitely not going to be happy with that. So, that's coming. And then, meanwhile, we do see also Corey having a heart-to-heart talk with Tula and Amanda about Aaron treating him like a punching bag. Amanda wisely observed that Corey is unfairly taking the blame for bad things that have happened in their past, in Aaron's past relationships. Amanda's listening, and, she's encouraging Corey to ask her out on a date because, she's waiting in the wings. However, Nicole is also hoping for that spot, And I think the fact that he is being extremely emotional about everything, and, he's definitely showing his feelings. A lot of the women are trying to nurture the situation with him. So they're definitely trying, because they have their purposes of being on the show as well, so they're definitely trying to figure this whole thing out. And this is also where we see Nicole cornering Corey and putting a little bit of pressure on, as she claimed everyone thought that they made such a cute couple. Unfortunately, as we'll see later, Corey's problems with Nicole is just beginning. So now we are back at the girls' villa, and we see Blake giving Chelsea an odd speech about how he's the dad of the group and that he's there to support both the women and also the single men. And, of course, Chelsea's kind of questioning that. He is a doctor, and, I guess maybe she's thinking, is he here for the right reasons? However, Chelsea does find him charming and ask him out on a second date. So, I mean, obviously there's some interest there, but there's also a little bit of hesitation there too. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think, if they actually truly have some form of a connection. It seems like they do, but you know, it's going to get interesting as you know, time goes along. So then we actually see now Aaron hanging out with Shaquille, and Shaquille looks like he truly adores Aaron, and think that, you know, of course, Aaron is super cute. And we saw how he was just grinning from ear to ear. So he was definitely excited about getting to know more about Aaron. We also did see Kristen popping over to hang out with both Griffin and Blake. And she admitted that she had been having trouble opening up to the guys because of her long-term relationship. Kristen also shared with them that her family and Julian are super tight, which makes breaking up even harder. But they're not feeling anything that she has to say. They pretty much moan after, I think, she gets ready to walk away, that she's not really there to make a connection. And the conversation is fake. And, you know, it was, yeah, Blake, I thought he was the therapist in the situation. So later we see the singles and the ladies have a disco party, and everyone is having a blast. They're dancing. They're wearing bright colored wigs and bell bottoms. We do, however, see, and I thought that was so cool. I was born in the 70s. I don't remember the 70s, but looked like they definitely had a good time. However, things got a little bit serious when Evan pulled Erica, Kristen, and Chelsea aside to apologize about the champagne drama he pulled a previous day. So, you know, Kristen told Evan it wasn't a big deal, but Evan said he heard otherwise. Evan mentioned that somebody told him that they were going to kick him off the island. And the girls denied that as being true and asked, who even told you that? And spreading that false information. And sure enough, Blake showed up. And Evan dished that it was Blake who told him, you know, the information. And you could definitely see his wheels turning in his head as, you know, Blake tried to talk his way out of the situation. And then, of course, Chelsea was shocked, you know, because she's interested in him and began to have doubts about his character. He says that, you know, he claims to be who he is. It's just town gossip. So back at the guys' villa, everyone was drinking and have pillow fights. It was definitely a temperature shift when it came to Corey, because he asked Amanda out on a date instead of Nicole. And Nicole freaked out when she found out. Corey did pull Nicole aside and try to clear the air, but she wasn't having it. I mean, Nicole claimed Corey asking someone else on the date made her look dumb. And Nicole was upset because she says she's falling in love. He's totally her type. You know, I don't know what, you know, train of thought was going through her mind. Corey realized not much would be accomplished as Nicole cried hysterically. So he let her know that they can chat the next day. So now we see that the girls are going snorkeling for their date, and that, you know, Erica admitted to Jesse she's never been swimming in an ocean before. The only difference between her and Kendall needed pool noodles. She didn't. And guys, can we again talk about the underwater visuals that, you know, the network did with filming that? I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Even the landscapes, the views of the ocean and things like that, they really got some great shots. So I try to get these shots because I really like them and I add them into the video, but I digress. Let's continue. So we now see the conversation with Chelsea and Blake, and Chelsea says she feels a bit distant towards him, but she still wants to explore their relationship because she has feelings toward him. So, again, like I said earlier, I think there is some form of connection, but there's some hesitation there, and rightfully so, especially with all of the drama that was brought up earlier. Then we also hear Kristen admitted to David that the reason that she's not ready to marry Julian is because he cheated on her. And, you know, if that's where you are at this point, if you don't think you're going to get past this point, then there's some decisions that's probably going to need to be made. Then we see Aaron and Shaquille also talking about how much fun they had together, which of course prompted Shaquille to, you know, be open to win over Aaron's heart from her boyfriend. So we'll have to keep an eye on this, because I know that other guy that she's talking to that's also an athlete, there's some connection there. So we'll see where that goes. So Corey and Amanda went paddle boarding. Julian told Tula he was willing to let Kristen go if that's what she wanted. We saw Thomas wooing Sophia with flowers. And, you know, of course, he got that big smile on his face. However, we do see that there's definitely some form of connection that's building between Sophia and Thomas. Even more so, he put that flower in the air, and Sophia even gives him a kiss on the cheek. And then we see Alexis wanting more than a kiss as she talks the next steps with Kendall. And Kendall, you know, he reemphasizes that he has no rules and want to fully dive into the experience. And yeah, this is going to be interesting. Now, Erica also made a mental note because the guys were cooking. And she saw that the guys had put together a taco bar. And, you know, obviously she does all of the cooking. Kendall does not. So she was saying it's nice to actually have some guys that cook for them. We see the conversation between Chelsea and Aaron as they're confiding in each other that Blake is acting just like Thomas. And that Chelsea said Blake is a flirt who's only interested in helping everyone else. And, you know, Aaron told Chelsea that Blake is also nosy. And she should explore other options. And obviously that looks like something she's definitely interested in doing. She had the hesitation. She didn't think that he was here for the right reasons. So whatever connection that, Blake had with Chelsea obviously is headed out the door. Back at the guys' villa, we see some of the girls telling Alexis that they wish the other guys were more like Kendall. And why? Because he never talks about his girlfriend and he wants to dive into the experience. Yeah, they want what they want. At the same time, what about the girlfriend? Then Alexis and Kendall, as we see, have some, very close communication. They wander up to his room. There's this weird pause as they kind of stood there, waiting to see who's going to make the first move. And, she stood in front of him. She was hinting that she actually wanted to go further. Eventually, we see that they actually kissed. Alexis acted like she was going to leave, but, it left us there to figure out what's going to happen next. And I can guarantee you that particular scene is definitely going to be in that bonfire that Erica is going to get to see. And I don't think she's going to be happy about that at all. So we'll see next week. So let's do our post notification shout out. If you want to be shouted out, drop a comment down below. I will see you and shout you out. And this one is for the Jevy. Thank you so much for engaging in the channel. I really appreciate your comment. And until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you soon.